Leave me on the single a little longer because I'll set up some of our new segments and stuff and just sort of tee that up.
Okay. Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
What's going on, folks? Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday night or Monday if you're listening the morning after. Welcome to Got Your Back live post-game edition. Oilers make it back-to-back wins. Real solid couple of points they pick up in the Battle of Alberta. Jason Strudwick standing by to help me break it all down. Chris Sabunia at the helm in Kelowna as well. I'm coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio, now with an online store for all your diesel truck parts and needs. Check them out online, adrenalinediesel.ca. And as always, we're brought to you by our title sponsor, Play Alberta, where it's always game time. You can bet on sports, find your new favorite slot, hit the tables, play on a virtual table with a live dealer, grab lottery tickets, do it all safely with responsible gambling tools that help keep you safe. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB11. The code this month is now GYB11. Visit playalberta.ca. Exciting show tonight, folks. For those regular listeners, we got some new content on deck for tonight's show. A couple of new segments. Thrilled to bring on a couple of new partners as well, but Struds and I are it's going to be a little bit longer. We'll probably go 80, 90 minutes with you tonight. Why not? Lots to talk about. Going to debut a couple of new segments. We'll get back to our Take a Lap segment where we look around the National Hockey League at some of the biggest stories going on. And then a new one where we dig deep into the defensive brain of Jason Strudwick and ask him to focus on one defenseman each night and do a deep dive on their game. We'll let you know who. That segment coming up a little bit later on. But for now, let's check in with Struds. And as I said, Zuby at the controls in Kelowna. Hey, Struddy, we love spending this time together. Might as well do a little more, buddy. We got some great ideas on deck tonight. I'm really excited. We got a prospects report tonight. Our In the System returns with Ryan Reed as well. We look at what's going on in Baco and with the Oilers prospects.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Now, tell me, who is he talking about? Because I'm really interested in the player that came out from Ottawa. What's his name? Robbie Caraventa, or what was the young Finn?
Jarventi.
Yeah, I'm really interested in him. And that's a guy I guess I was reading, I forget where maybe it was Older Nation. Someone put something together that said he had a pretty good couple of games. Yep. And he's an important part, or he could be an important part of what they're trying to do here. A little bit bigger body, a little bit more speed than what they had when they shipped him out.
Yeah, 6'2", second-round pick by the Ottawa Senators. And I know for a fact that Ryan doesn't have that in the report. That's probably an oversight on my part, but great point by you. We can update everybody, those Struds. 2 assists in the first couple of games that he has played down in the American Hockey League. But that's coming up in our report In the System, coming up a little bit later. And then, Struds, you did a deep dive. Let's not give away too much, but who was the deep dive on tonight, buddy?
Yeah, Rasmus Andersson. So the idea behind this whole segment every game night, we'll be talking about a player, a D-man on the other team. And I think that there's a subtlety to playing D. And I think we can see, everyone looks at Cale Makar and the guys that put up a lot of points, and they're exciting. But we're going to talk about other parts of players' games that makes them special in their own way. And there'll be some repeat, obviously you can't reinvent the wheel every time as a D-man, but, I'll sit back, I watch Rasmussen really closely. He's a player I've liked for a while. And Oilers fans hate him, so that's usually a good sign.
HSE Core Services will bring you our core blue liners coming up a little bit later on. But interesting game tonight. Lots to pile into, Struds, so let's get to it in our breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 has a bold new powertrain, redesigned exterior, state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. Check out your Ram dealer today. Just a great looking truck, both in and out. Okay, Struds, there's lots of different areas for us to hit on. Obviously, Leon Draisaitl's got 6 points in the 2 games that Connor McDavid has missed. A lot of expectation for him to step up, and he absolutely has in back-to-back games. We'll get to him in just a minute, but a point of emphasis coming into this game for me, Struds, was the Oilers' power play and penalty kill. 27th was the power play at 13.3% on the way in. 31st was the penalty kill at 62%. These have to get better. And I thought it was huge, Struds, that in the third period with the game on the line, it was the power play that got them the goal, and it was the penalty kill that held firm.
Yeah. I mean, these are two, for sure. The power play was not one we expected to be. What did you say they're at now? 26th, 27th, somewhere in there?
27th coming into tonight, 13% and change.
And it's incredible, like with the talent they have. And let's not even talk about what's happened, in the past number of years. Just with the talent they have, it's incredible that that's what we're talking about. And so it seems inevitable it's going to get better. The penalty kill, they did lose a few kind of key guys, especially on the back end. So that's probably a work in progress as they try to help new guys figure out what their roles are and how, not their roles as far as being defensemen, but their roles of understanding what their role is while they're killing penalties and how we all work together. So, but you're right. It was a key moment, and you need confidence. You need to get confidence, especially as a penalty killer, because there are times when you feel like you can't stop anything. So for that moment to kill that penalty, it was really, really big, actually. The power play goal, I'm hesitant to really give them 2 claps on the woo for that one, because it was not a classic power play setup. It was kind of a broken
they'll take
play.
them however they can get them. They'll take
agree,
them however they can get them.
I feel like scoring off the rush on the power play isn't really a power play goal. I know someone's going to have a stat. They're going to say whatever percentage of goals are scored in that. But if you didn't see the game, the puck just went over the blue line. Ekholm goes back, throws it to Draisaitl. Then there's a play that goes to the middle. And out of that, Hyman gets a breakaway. And a great play. Slides under the goalie's stick over Vladar. Like, it was really nice. But there is no coach in the league that's going to say, hey, guys, let's gather around the TV here and watch this Oilers power play score a goal, because that's just not the one. So I don't want to deflate your point, but I think we got to be careful.
I'm going to argue with you a little bit here. I'm going to push back on this. A big part of a power play being effective, right, is entries. Now, this was not a picturesque entry. This was a power play that was struggling on entries all night. I thought there were 2 really composed plays between Ekholm, right, looping to the boards, understanding he had to let the players tag up, delaying just long enough, the little tap to Draisaitl, then 2 guys, quickly hitting the line in numbers. That's still that's a gained zone in a scramble type play. I like that. I thought that was a good, solid power play entry off a scramble. So I'll argue a little with you there. I like the entry. But
that's really not a classic power play entry. A power play entry for me is where you come from your own zone. So I don't know. Listen, I'm not unhappy that it happened, but I want to be. I'd rather see a nice zone entry off of an icing than come in and set it up, 3-4 passes, backdoor shot, goal. Like, that would make me feel better. But when you're starving, you'll eat anything, and they'll take that goal and they'll cheer themselves on through that whole process.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that the kill for me was the big one. Like, the kill was such a strength of this team late last season and into the playoffs. And, Connor McDavid being out of the lineup doesn't affect the penalty kill, right? They need to be able to hit stride and find stride and be critical. I thought Brett Kulak was excellent. I thought that one penalty kill towards the end of the game, he made 2 crucial plays and you can sort of take us through the 2 plays that he made there, Struds, but then also the defensive play earlier on in the game that took a goal away. I thought Brett Kulak had some really good moments in this game, including on that kill.
Well, a big thing for me on the kill is that when you get a chance to ice it, you have to ice it all the way down. And you go back to the previous game where it was the previous game, right, where he shot it and hit a player in front, and then they tucked it in. So obviously that stayed with him, because tonight I thought he had when he got the puck, he iced it all the way down. And it's a cliche and maybe one that's not really used that much with players to the media, but the coach will always say, you have more time than you think. Take a stride, make a shot. And there was one particular where he got it, skated behind his net, and he had all kinds of time. And he fired it all the way down the net ice. Whereas the previous, if we go back to the power play goal in the last game, remember he brought it and just hammered it right up the middle of the ice and hit the player, and it was in the net right away. So, learning, and not that he doesn't know, but, just understand the moments you have to make those choices.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of really nice looks from him. Okay, let's get to Leon Draisaitl. I mean, 2 games in a row where they set the tone with an early goal. Talk about igniting a team, igniting a bench. To get goals on the road like that on the first shift of hockey games or in the first minute or so, whatever it is, pretty critical stuff. And Draisaitl just really nailing down the details of his game really well the last couple of games here, Strud. So the offense is coming nicely, but the details are there once again.
Well, the biggest detail of all of them, moving his feet, right? When you've
been saying it. Yep.
It's every big player is the same. Like, I'm not going to just pin this on. Let's think back to Dustin Penner. And it's been a little while. When Penn's got his feet moving, he was a really hard guy to handle. And I'm not suggesting that Leon is on the same level as Dustin, but when big guys skate, you think about when Jack Eichel skates, when Barkov skates, when Kopitar skates, these big guys, it makes such a difference because now you're big, like a big train. And of all those players, Leon has the most skill. And so he's been really skating well. And I can't tell you what it's like when your team scores the first goal on the first shift. And in Calgary, especially for the Battle of Alberta, right? You're just fired up, and it just takes a little bit of steam at another team, and not doubt, but you're just like, oh man, we're already down 1-0. We haven't even, you can still hear George Canyon, who I can't stand as a singer. I can't stand that guy as a national singer. I don't know what it is. I've never met him. Oh, it bothers me so. I literally turn it. Sorry, George. I'm sure he's a great guy. I can't stand when he sings it. Anyways, you can still hear his voice echoing throughout the Saddle Dome. Boom, and all of a sudden the Oilers score, so it puts him on edge, puts him on tilt a bit.
Yep, for sure. There were a couple of plays in his own end that I really liked as well. So there was one in the second period. I think it was their first shift in the second period. Came back super deep into his own end, like got back hard on the back check, super deep, down in the corner, made a play, and then broke the puck out right after that. So just, there were a few times where he was stops and starts in his own end, deep in his own end, and early on in a period, which I really like from him. He comes out kind of setting the tone early on in a period. I think that was early in the second period that he did that. Just real good details in Leon Draisaitl's game. Hyman, how about Hyman? Back-to-back games with goals for Zach Hyman. And this one, I loved the touch and the skill. Not that his first one was terrible, but the touch and the skill with a goal like that for Hyman to score. Those are confident hands. A guy that knows it's coming.
He's been all over it. Like, even though he hadn't scored in the first 10 games, whatever it was, he was getting chances. And he's the guy that doesn't drag it down, not dragging his lip, and just keeps going. So he gets the goal. Yeah. Then tonight, this was a legit goal scorer's goal, right? He's not going to score from distance. He's going to get in there tight. And it was a great play. He showed some speed that at times people doubt he has. Then he slides under the goalie stick, backhand. Like, that's a really, really nice goal. And now I think we have Zach Hyman back. If you're an Oilers fan and a teammate, okay, he's going to score again. That's a nice goal. Now he gets going. It's like the difference between 0 and 1 is huge compared to 1 and 2, right? You get that first goal, and I know it's not many, but now it's like, oh, I just got to get 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on a bit of a heater here, right? And in November, maybe rattles off, I don't know, I don't want to get crazy, but let's say 5 or 6 goals, whatever. Like, he could have a pretty good month. Because he's feeling again, and he was getting chances. Rishaug.
Quaddy says, I contend Hyman has played well this whole season. And then he follows up saying, snake bitten. Terry a little bit worried. Hyman's got the bad shoulder now. We saw him kind of shaking it off after some contact on the boards. Looked fine for the rest of the game. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson Sound Box, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Keep your garage warm this winter. 20% off all garage heater installs from now until the 22nd of November. That's 20% off all installs. Whether you have a man cave like I do with the old golf sim, or a bonus room over your garage that's a little chilly, or don't like getting into a cold car, a heater from Weiss Johnson will help make your life more comfortable. Get in touch with them and take advantage of this great garage heater offer, or for any of your other home comfort needs.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Zach Hyman on scoring in back-to-back games.
I mean, I think I've proven I can score in the league. So, yeah, just goals in back-to-back. I don't know. It just obviously wasn't he was getting a lot of chances the first 10 games, just didn't fall for me. Nice to score a big one tonight, and a crucial moment of the game to help us win.
Kirk Kenny says, love the mindset and digging in across the board by the boys the last two games. Good comment there, Kirk. And Leon Draisaitl, very much the leader, charging the way with those details in his game. Here's Matthias Ekholm talking about Draisaitl the last couple of games.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes I think he gets overlooked, obviously when Connor does his things, but I think there's nights when he should be getting maybe bigger highlights and bigger spotlights than he actually does when Connor's in and he does his thing. But yeah, it's very nice to see that. That's what the best do, I think. They bring out the best in themselves when it's needed the most for our group and for our team, and he's certainly done that.
Flames definitely kind of shot themselves in the foot with some bad late penalties, Struds? A couple 100 feet from his own net there was the possible penalty, and too many men. Like, that's, Ryan Huska. How will Ryan Huska deal with that stuff?
Well, these are avoidable, right? Let's start first with Pospisil. I mean, that one, I love the way he plays. Like, he's a guy that I think you have to keep, feeding minutes to and kind of help him. But that penalty can't happen. It just can't happen. Then the too many men. 6 guys clearly on the ice. This wasn't a close one. This isn't one we can argue like, oh, he was just coming off. There was 6 guys out there. It's funny because in real time, I was watching them, like, it feels like they have a lot of guys standing up on the Oilers blue line and kind of around there. Then I think Kelly Rudy said, let's bring in the overhead shot. And they did. And it was like crazy. It was, How does that even happen at that moment? And coaches really get frustrated because it wasn't like Calgary's out of this game. They were close, right? It wasn't a clear-cut Oilers win at that point. So they had a chance, and then instead of being 6 on 5, it was 5 on 5, and maybe that was the difference in the game, that too many men penalty.
All right, let's get to our Relentless Player of the Game, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and find employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. It was an obvious one last time, Struds. It's another layup if you want it. What are you going to do today?
You know what? I think a lot of times I do look in the dirt a little bit for Relentless players. But tonight he does it again. Leon Draisaitl. I don't know how I can go away from
back
him.
Right?
Another 3. Yeah. And he's deserved it though. Like, you know what? He was challenged by McDavid going down. And so here we are. I mean, what more do you want a guy? Hey man, you need to come out and play. Okay. I got 6 points in the first 2 games, helping us get 4 points out of, a possible 4 when our captain goes down. So that is the very definition of relentless. Others have played well as well, but I just, I had a few other names down there. I actually had Darnell Nurse down there. I liked his game, but when you challenge someone to do something and he delivers, hey man, get the title, give him the title.
Probably honorable mention, like Stu Skinner, I thought made some important saves. I think in and around when that game was tight. How did you feel about the 2 on Skinner tonight? I mean, barring in on both of them. One of them was a tip. There's nothing he's going to do about that. And I don't know if he got a clean look at the one coming in, floating in from the point.
I didn't love the way the D-men played it, Nurse and Ekholm, on Mantha's first goal. Now, I know as a D-man, you're probably not thinking I got to tie up a guy's stick who I thought it was a high stick, but it was very borderline. But they're both kind of standing beside him. So now you have player, Flame, player, and the goalie's trying to find it through 3 massive bodies. Like, those guys are all 6'3" and taller. So I didn't love the way they played that one. That one, I'll give them a pass. The next one, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can, again, maybe he could have got his glove on it, but a tip, what are you going to do?
One more time to the Weiss Johnson sound box. Here is Skinner.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what we do now. I think we when our backs are against the wall, or whenever we face some sort of adversity, we just come out stronger, come out better. And that's the kind of group that we got in here. And yeah, I think you just got a crew here that just isn't willing to give up.
All right, that was Stu Skinner in the Weiss Johnson soundbox. All right, that was a breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. When we come back, we'll get to the breakdown. Did you see that really interesting piece of video on Oilers Plus in their latest episode of The Drop? Remember that night where Chris Knobloch benched Leon Draisaitl? Got a little behind-the-scenes look. We'll take a look at that in takeaways, plus tons more to break down here from tonight's game. We got to talk some Pod Coles in, talk about a few other players. We'll get to that and lots more. Still plenty ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
All right, time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. They've got an extensive lineup of pre-owned equipment with over 500 pieces online, including acreage tractors, four-wheel drive tractors, combines, lawnmowers, skid steers, bobcats, and so much more. Visit horizonagturf.com. That's horizonagturf.com to browse through some of the used equipment that they have and the new stuff that is available today. Struds, Vasily Podkolzin remaining on the top line. I recall, and this is not going to be an I told you so thing, but I recall before the season started in preseason, one of the questions I had about Podkolzin was, is he going to earn enough trust to maybe try and push his way up the lineup a little bit? Like, he's a high draft pick with a history of skill, but he's so unproven at the NHL level. Can there be enough in his game that he can get some upward mobility through the lineup? Because let's face it, there's not a lot of people in his way. Holloways and these kinds of guys, McLeod's, they're all gone. So here he's gotten an opportunity, and there's just this confidence in his game, Struds, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but he's looking pretty good there, man.
16 minutes. That's pretty decent. Now, I believe you got some PK time today. Like, you're starting to get to 16 minutes. I know Connor's out, so I'm not going to, get a street ready named after him, but he is playing. Like, 16 minutes is quite a bit for a forward. Let me ask, as I was watching him tonight, I had a bit of an ISO camp because I'm starting to really like this player. What do you think of his speed now compared to preseason?
Yeah, totally fair question. My initial instinct on him when I watched him was that his boots were just okay. I kind of wondered if they were going to get in his way a little bit. But we're into regular season and it's up to full speed and they're not a problem at all. So I would say, I don't know if he sped up or not, but your instinct was right. Like his foot speed has been fine. I didn't think it was terrible. I just didn't think it would be listed as a strength for him and thought that it wasn't ideal. So it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I don't want to say he's great, but I think he can get where he needs to, but he's strong. And what I saw tonight,
he can get there. Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know if it was, I think it was maybe the first period. He got the puck and he brought it in down the left wing and kind of got pinched off and he rimmed it all the way to the other side and Leon was there. and Leon
Yeah.
had space and time.
That
Leon
was big.
loves
That was big.
He
Yes.
loves that.
Yes.
So let me get this straight. I'm going to give you the puck. You're going to give it back to me on the other side of the rink with space and time. Like, that is not an accident. I believe that Leon would have talked to him, would have said, listen,
Yeah.
if you're entering the zone, you're not sure, just rim it around, man. I'll be there. And so now all of a sudden Leon gets it set up. Like, that is, I've said it last time, I'll say it again. When you're playing with good players, you have to get the puck and give it to them. And if they give it to you, you shoot it unless they tell you not to shoot, in which case you give it back to them again. Like, that's the job. And then over the course of your relationship, you'll start figuring out where he wants to be and how he wants to do it and how he wants to get the puck. So like that play today, I jumped off my couch. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Because that big
That
man
was big.
there, Leon wants it. Skinner, so far, I haven't seen Skinner have the same type of thought process. But let's be honest, Skinner likes it on a stick. Paul Colton, not that he doesn't want
Different
it on a
player.
stick, but 29 wants it. So you slide it over to him. You don't hold on to it.
Yeah. And how about the play he made off the wall for the goal too? I mean, Leon, for Leon to be that open is criminal. But he was, and Podkolzin had a split second. I know it was an obvious play, but that still matters. You make a play on the wall, you find your center in the middle of the ice, and boom, it's in the back of the net. Had some chances off the rush as well. He had a couple of really nice disruption struds. And to your point, if your boots are heavy, your first couple of strides pursuing into the corner from a standstill aren't going to be great, but he's getting there. He's getting there. Like, there'll be a scramble. He'll be standing still. He'll see a puck in the corner in his first couple of strides, and he's got a nice reach. He gets there. He disrupts. He keeps offensive. He's driving his own time because he's disrupting.
And that's a great word you're using, because that's what you have to be. You have to get there and make life uncomfortable for the other team's defenseman. And I think that we'll see, he's a physical player. He's one of the more physical guys on the Oilers. And again, Leon likes that as well. Like, make no mistake about it. I'm not saying Leon calls his shots, but if he likes playing with someone, like, think of Yamamoto. Yamamoto played many, many games beside Leon because Yamamoto did that. He was disruptive and used his body. Unfortunately, his little body couldn't handle it doing it for 82 games. Paul Cole's a bigger, heavier guy. He can handle it. So, that's 2 games now where I'm like, this looks legit. They got another game tomorrow night against New Jersey. Maybe a bet. Well, I think they're a good team. New Jersey's a good team. D, are they better than Calgary's? Probably better, more experienced. Especially that right side with Pesci and Hamilton and who am I missing? Someone else in there. But they have a pretty good, decent D. So let's see it again tomorrow. It's 2 good games. Let's do it again, man.
Neil Garrity dropping this bomb. Podkolzin is better than Holloway. A little soon for that, Neil. Little soon for that. We'll lovingly back you up on that one a little bit. He's put some good games together. Holloway's playing some great hockey for the St. Louis Blues. By the way, did you see Broberg go down the other night? Was there an update today? That didn't look good.
I've been looking and I haven't seen it. Yeah, that looks like I saw the injury, not any update. Doesn't mean that there isn't one. I haven't seen it. It looks that looks pretty bad. And
felt bad for him.
Poor guy. You get that role and you just want to keep playing. So I really feel bad for him. Really, really.
And by the way, I mean, there were multiple injuries on the blue line out there. So the opportunity was just opened right up for him beautifully. And he was crushing it, doing a really good job. But anyway, good signs from Podkolzin. Struds, anybody else you want to give kudos to, or any other thoughts from today's game? I know maybe you had a bigger picture thought on what we've seen here, because this Oilers team is now 6-2-1 in their last 9 games. Think about that. 6 wins in their last 9 games, buddy. It's turned.
So my point is that I believe they're getting back to the DNA that they brought in about this time last year, actually. Kind of ironic, defending. So here's their last 6 games, goals against. 2 in going backwards. 2-1-6 against Columbus. That's the night McDavid went down. 2-0-3. So let's take Columbus game out. Even if you want to leave it in, the average is way better than, it's what it needs to be around that 2 to 3 goal mark, right? Just the last couple, right? 2 and then 1. 2 wins. The Oilers can score, but they got to get back to playing that way. So I think that's their more DNA that they're looking at. So their goals against are getting more in line with what they should do. And now Hyman scored, Leon, they have other guys contributing. I think that is very, very important for this group.
So they had 5 even strength goals last game. Their first 2 were even strength. The third was a power play goal. The last one was an even strength as well. That's 8 even strength goals in a couple of games here. The goals that they're scoring offensively are finally starting to match what the numbers say they should be putting in. If you look at their expected goals and such. But great point on the defensive side of the puck too, Struds. 100%. Okay. Did you, not sure if you folks out there, who has an Oilers Plus subscription and who doesn't, but they have a show called The Drop, and they actually do a really good job. They get some cool stuff behind the scenes, right? The cameras are allowed places, quite frankly, that our cameras are not. And even that the Sportsnet cameras as rights holders aren't necessarily allowed. So, with the Sportsnet or with the Oilers Plus subscription comes The Drop, which is about an hour long, 45 minutes, an hour long show that they drop every so often. And this most recent one, Struds, dropped. It showed what happened in the locker room after the game against Philadelphia. You'll remember it was an overtime win by the Oilers, but it was also the game where Chris Knobloch benched Leon Draisaitl for a couple of shifts, right? Just rolled over him twice and then went back to Draisaitl. And of course, I think he ended up with an assist and then the overtime winner. So we're going to roll it here, courtesy our friends at Oilers Plus. I'm not sure how well it'll come across if you're not watching the video, but what you're going to hear is Chris Knobloch giving out the team awards. And what he says is, I know he's probably mad at me, but here you go. And he gives the Player of the Game award to Leon Draisaitl. So if you ever wondered, what's that like in the room after a coach benches a star player? Here's a little inside look, courtesy Oilers Plus.
And sorry, this is only the second part, Shogger, because you sent me that in the text. So that's part 1.
Oh, okay. So you don't have the
I just have the retort.
Okay. All right. So
but you kind of just set
it up a little bit better then. I'll set it up a little bit better. And sorry, Zuby, I must have pasted the wrong one and sent it to you. Basically, you see Chris Knobloch in the back room looking at the 2 awards in his hands in the coach's room, and he's thinking about it. Walks out into the room, gives one of them to Troy Stetcher, right? Remember he had the scrap there, Struds? And then he goes, look, I know he's probably pissed at me, but you earned this, Leon. And he hands the Player of the Game belt to Leon Draisaitl after just having benched him. And Draisaitl kind of gives him this look like, yeah, like, you damn right I did kind of thing. It was a really cool moment. And then after the next win, and you can go ahead and roll that, Zuby, this is Draisaitl basically saying, I was going to give it back to Chris, but he left.
I was going to get this right back to Knobber, but it's left. Totally great.
All right, sorry, miscue. My intention was to show you the first one where Draisaitl was given the belt by Chris Knobloch. But Struds, it was interesting that he said he's probably mad at me, but here you go. What do you think of Knobloch doing that?
Well, it's the elephant in the room. So you just bring it up and say, hey, yeah, this is what happened. I did bench him basically, and everyone knows. And then, yeah, like it's over, right? We've talked about it a little bit, but there was some justification for it. Not some. He was justified in making that decision, and then we all move on. And that's the standard now set by the best player. Well, one of the best 2 players on the team.
Yeah, man, that's standard. Like, that matters to me. And we talked about it that night, but I think that must resonate through the group when a player like that gets sat down. So, I mean, basically that standard is set, and everybody knows that there are certain lines you don't cross, and it doesn't matter who you are, and how important that is to help you through the ups and the downs of a season, right? Knowing where that baseline is, and that baseline applies for everybody.
And it's different. It moves for different players. Like if a 4th liner comes out and cross-checks a guy like that, you're sitting right away. The other guys have more leeway, but it's still, everyone has there's a mark in the sand for everyone, and it is different, and that is just the way it is on every team.
Yeah. Anyways, again, apologies. I screwed that up and sent the wrong video to Zuby, but worth a look if you haven't had a chance to see it. It's floating around online as well. Zuby, hop in, buddy. Let's get to our YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Go down and check out their pro shop style atmosphere, 5311 99th Street here in Edmonton. What do we got tonight, Zoobs?
So looking at things looking up here a little bit, even with McDavid on the shelf. So we asked, whose recent uptick in play are you most excited about? Asking Oiler fan. The options are Podkolzin, Zach Hyman, Stu Skinner, and I threw Kulak on there as the fourth choice. And of course, write-in votes are always welcome, but lots of people talking about how they loved Kulak's game tonight. So we threw him in there as the fourth choice as well. So who are you guys excited about?
Struds, where would your vote go there? What do you think's most meaningful of those guys?
The others I expected, Skinner, Kulak. I'm expecting those guys. I didn't know what to think of Paul Colson. I don't know what he can do. So I think that is the one that is the biggest wild card. And therefore, he gets my vote.
Yeah, I would probably say too, like, just curious what he might be capable of, because he's a young player and they're subject to the ups and downs of the confidence roller coaster. And as the confidence flows in, you just wonder which way it's going to go. Skinner turning things around, though, that's big. If he starts to gain some of that confidence back and he's put together some decent performances. There have been some bumps. We know that, but it's been decent so far. All right, that was Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. When we come back, no Rob Brown tonight, was running late with Bryn on the 880 Ched post-game show, so we'll catch up with him after the game tomorrow night. That means Brownie Points is wide open. So tonight, Struds, we're going to solicit Brownie Points from people on the stream as well. So write in some Brownie Points right now. We'll try and work a few of those in. Zuby will keep an eye out for those. Struddy will have a couple Brownie Points. I'll have a couple Brownie Points. Zuby, you grab one if you want. Between the four of us and the 500 or so on the stream, we'll try and make up for the quality that Rob Brown brings this show every single night. That, Struddy's World, our new content, still tons ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
God, I look good.
Yeah, get no respect.
All right, time now for Struddy's World. Brought to you by Timber House Developments, where if you can dream it, they can make it happen. A truly customized building experience. So let's say you want a living room that can double as a dance floor, right? They can make that happen for you. How about an office where you like throw in a fountain or a slide or something if you want? They've got you covered. Every house is unique. Every customer's like family. See what you can dream up together. Contact timberhouse.ca.
Yeah, get no respect.
Right?
Defending a lead at the end of the game can be really tricky, especially when it comes to clears, like zone clears. And there's a play today at the end where we saw the off the face-off, Ekholm gets it, and he puts it about probably, maybe hip height. And Mackenzie Weegar does a great job knocking it down with his stick, not with his hand, and knocks it down. He chooses not to shut that wall off and not let the guy hit it by. But, I think Ekholm thought that was going to be enough. Well, it wasn't. And, there's a scramble ensued and almost went in, but whatever. They were able to get past it. And I'm not picking on Ekholm here, but just a discussion surrounding zone clears when you're down, you're up and you're down, man. So it's 6-5 or 6-4 and you're down to the last minute. I don't like it when guys ice it. So I think Ekholm's idea was correct. You want to get it out of the zone without icing it, especially because they were 5-on-5 because Calgary's on the penalty kill. But I do think you have to make it really hard for it to get out. What I liked, and you see it sometimes, is guys kind of try to bank it off, so they might shoot it out. If you're, let's say it's your own dot, they might try to fire it out to the other opposite red line where it connects on the wall. The problem with that is that sometimes they can sail right out. So it is better to maybe just ice it. But it's a really hard play. The flip works really well, but I know that coaches hate it when you get in that situation and you have it on your stick and you have time and you don't get it out and it gets knocked back in. A lot of times that results in complete chaos in your zone. So again, I'm not beating up Ekholm here, but it's a conversation worth having because you see it every night in NHL when games are close towards the end of the night.
Yeah, and you know what, Struds, it doesn't necessarily just have to be towards the end of the night as well. Like big moments in games. I think about the end of that first period, buddy, when Calgary absolutely grabbed a huge chunk of momentum back in that game. Yeah. How many times did the Oilers have the puck on their stick and in similar situations, right, not make the play? But bottom line, at the end of a game, when it's absolutely critical, that's where you need to buckle down and have your details locked.
And that's what the veteran guys are out there for. So if you notice the group, it was Nurse and Ekholm, Draisaitl, what's his nuts there? It was Henrique, and then was it
Janmark? Janmark got in on the block with Henrique.
Right. There you go. Right. So pretty sure guys that are, pretty steady and predictable. And then even to get that goal, if you saw what Leon did, he kind of takes it side to the middle, then brings it far back to the wide towards the wall, and then throws it up on his backhand. Like it's Leon Draisaitl, right? Janmark's not pulling it off, but it was a strong play. So you always want to make strong plays around those blue lines, right, all the time. But I just found it 6-on-5. Man, those are such important moments because even if you get it out, it's 10, 15 seconds and everyone's got to come out. They're like, oh my God, this guy didn't keep it in. Like everyone kind of gets rattled, right? If you keep it in, now they're coming down your throat.
I don't really love the way the Oilers played the last minute and a half of that game. Like they were even out there, right? It's not like the Flames had an extra attacker out there and the Oilers were in this sort of passive shell. And I was like, what are you doing? It's 5-on-5 out there right now because the Flames were killing that penalty. They got the extra attacker late, but I thought the Oilers were way too passive for that last minute or so in there.
Yeah, I'll challenge you on that. So what happens is if you are too over-aggressive, it creates issues behind you because now there's ice in front of the net. So you want to try to protect more. So what they were doing is they had one D-man on there. The other forward is behind. And I was actually surprised that Calgary wasn't more aggressive because there was a lot of battles. There was like 1 versus 1. And I know that they don't have that. They've pulled their goalie, but you got to get that puck back. Right. So you love it on the penalty kill or when you're trying to protect a lead and they pulled their goalie is where it's a one-on-one battle. You as an offensive team, you always want to outnumber every time you can. So on the power play, if I'm in the corner battling with whoever on their team, they better send 2. You don't want to be even. And I thought I was surprised. And I know they were down, down a man, but still get in there and get that puck back. Otherwise, why bother, right? You're trying to get that goal and trying to get it in there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair point by you for sure. On your point about plays at the blue line and plays on the wall, there was another one tonight too on the, which Flames goal was it? Rim around the boards by Nurse. I think it was the one that somebody fired in. Yeah, it was the one that went off the post and in. But Zach Hyman was there on the wall, right? Nurse kind of rimmed it around. Hyman was there. Little different for Hyman playing over on that right side, being the left shot. But again, a real good player who's known for his board play, still with an error there in a battle.
Yeah, anytime it's rimmed, if you can't make a clean play or you're not sure, holding on to it's not the worst thing. Just hold on to it. Same thing for a D-man. If you're not sure of your play, you don't have to just hammer it away because you have no idea where it's going. So I think that, Hyman's a big, strong guy and he can handle that. or not a big strong, but he plays strong, and he can hold that puck there if the opportunity comes, or anyone, anytime. Instead of trying to make a quick little play in the middle, if you're unsure, hang on to it, man, and make the play.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you blame the forward if you want, but I mean, the D-man can feel free to make a tape-to-tape pass too, Struds. Like it's like the D there too. Yeah. Okay.
Well, if they'd forecheck harder, we'd never be in our own zone.
Just hard around the boards. Like now it's someone else's problem.
Yeah.
Making your problem someone else's problem. Brought to you by defensive defensemen all over the place. Okay, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by our good friends over at Timber Hoss Developments. All right, Zuby, you probably don't have a 3-shot built, but you're welcome to hop in here for brownie points because you can take some of the best ones that came in off the stream. But let's get to brownie points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Roll that happy music. Need a unique idea for your team or school's next fundraiser? Well, they can help your organization raise money by customizing a bunch of options of their world-famous jerky. This month's special, by the way, $85, 3 pounds of beef jerky with free shipping anywhere in the province. $85 for 3 pounds of this glorious stuff. Check out albertajerky.com. Okay, Struds, you want to go back and forth? Me and you, Zuby, you can chime in.
Sounds great.
I will start with, I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nelly here.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to start, well...
Are you taking away? Starting by taking away?
Yeah, no, I'll club myself on this one. I'm actually 29 brownie points I'm taking away from myself, which really hurts my positive total this year. I royally pooched that takeaway segment and that Draisaitl thing we were trying to do. It was a freaking disaster. Terrible producing, awful by me. So 29 brownie points out the door for me for that horseshit performance last segment.
Yeah, you sent that in the group text. I'm like, what's he talking? I don't really know what's going on. I can only understand.
Wrong
it.
one.
It was
wrong video.
I guess I should have been more clear.
God.
All right, let's get this thing on track. I'm going to go 29 brownie points to Ryan Pulock, the D-man of the Islanders. They've got some injury issues back there, and the big D-man banged out 29-24. Couldn't quite get to 30 minutes. That's a big night on the back end. Just to give you an idea, Noah Dobson, 25 minutes was next side, but I think Romanov's out. So the big man, that's a lot of ice time, man. 30 minutes out every single other shift. That's a night. That's a good night.
Yeah. Zuby, you got one?
Yeah, I got a good one here from Shane Matheson. He's giving 9 brownie points to Darnell Nurse for his 4 blocks and 5 hits. Great D-minded game from Darnell Nurse.
Yeah. I like that one. Actually, Shane, you just stole my thunder, but I'm going to one-up you. Okay. I was giving Darnell Nurse 15 brownie points because if you combine Darnell Nurse's 6 shot attempts, 5 hits, and 4 block shots, that gives you 15. I gave Nurse some brownie point loving after the last game too, so I will echo that sentiment and push that forward as well. So 15 on the positive side for Darnell Nurse. Struds?
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to wrap mine up with 23 for the Boston Bruins. They allowed 23 shots for a shutout against the Kraken tonight, and that's 2 shutouts in a row for them. Important points for them to try to get back into that Atlantic Division battle.
And was it Swayman tonight? Because it was Korpisalo the other night.
I think it was Swayman tonight.
Swayman, yeah.
Nice for him. He needs to get on track a little bit too. Here's a good one. Han Solo 87 is giving 6 brownie points to the Calgary Flames for putting out a 6th skater and helping secure the Oilers' 6th win of the year.
Well done, Hans Solo. These aren't brownie points, but I don't want to forget this. Neil Garrity chiming in. Shoggy, do me a favor. Say hi to my daughter, Emerson. She's an Oilers fan living in Calgary. A big got your back hello from all of us and everybody on our stream to you, Emerson. Thanks for listening along with Dad Neil. I will go minus 11 brownie points for Noah Philp. And I don't want to be hard on him, but that was his percentage in the face-off circle tonight. Won a big one on the penalty kill in the defensive zone. That was the one we had early. And I remember thinking, he's getting some penalty killing cookies. Like, good for him. Tough night the rest of the night. You know what? He's going to have nights like that. It's the National Hockey League. It's as good as it gets. But bit of a wake-up call in the face-off circle tonight for Philp. Struds, though I have to say, although the ice time was cut towards the end of the game, I like what he brought again tonight. He made some smart, heady plays out there.
Yeah, he is, and he's a big body. Like, he looks big out there. So yeah, I like what he's doing. But unfortunately for him, he is a center. Winning draws is tough. But I've talked to Sentiment about it especially when you're young, when you get on a slippery slide, it's really hard to reel it back in. Really hard to reel it. So he was having a tough night in there, and they've got some pretty decent center. Like Backlund's a pretty smart center, or good strong center, and some others. So yeah, tough night for him in the face-off top, but a pretty good game after all.
Hey, Zuby, you got the Reverend here trolling Struddy a little? You got Reverend Hans Peter Meyer at Sacred Bodieska. Weird handle.
I did, but
he's got a hunt.
Go ahead. I'm over in my other list, so.
No problem. He's got 100 brownie points for the guy who sings the anthem in Calgary, Struds.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
I'm sure he's a great guy. I just don't like the way he sings it. It just really bothers me. I don't usually notice them at all, anthem singers. So sorry, George. I don't know. I'm sure you're a great guy. I feel awful about it, but God.
No. Hey, everybody has their singing. When you know what, Struds? When you have the beautiful dulcet tones that you do, you can be judgmental of other professional singers. You are fully qualified to make that sort of indictment.
Yeah, he gets me. God.
I feel like broadly Calgary has the worst. And again, no offense. Whenever I have that thought too, oh, this is terrible, it always seems like it's a Flames game. Yeah. I'm not going to call any.
Davin chimes in and says Struds does have a nice organ. Thank you for that, Davin. Anything else, Zuby, or are we moving on?
I got one good one here from Denny Lemieux, the world-renowned goaltender for the Charlestown Chiefs, of course, Denny Lemieux. I hate to tear. I'd like to suggest for brownie points 50 pesos worth of brownie points for live streaming from Mexico tonight. And we all have left after watching the game at Bucerias. Love Bucerias, and some love for Bucerias on the stream as well. Wonderful.
We're worldwide, Struddy. We're worldwide, boys.
International.
Love it. International. Good stuff. That was brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Okay, I kind of forget the order that we're doing things because we got some new segments and such here. But Struds, why don't you grab your scoreboard? And why don't we grab a scoreboard here as we get set to go to our final break of the night? And that scoreboard will be brought to you by Canadian Club in honor of the founding year of the CC Distillery, 1858. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. It's a whopper, their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date, but it is smooth, I can tell you. Aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and a rich oak with a butterscotch finish that is so smooth. What were some relevant scores from around the league tonight, Struds?
Well, a couple pretty good ones here. The Hawks beat the Ducks 4-2. Bedard, 3 assists, making his case for the Four Nations Cup. I'm not sure if he has a spot on there. Most likely he does. Jets.
Gotta think so.
Jets beat the Bolts 7-4. Jets, 7 different goal scores for the Jets. Man, the Jets are just absolutely rolling along right now, which is
juggernaut.
Yep. They are really kind of getting it done. And then earlier today, 5-2. The Rangers beat up on my old buddies, the Islanders. The Islanders have some pretty significant injury issues. Romanoff on the back end and Matty Barzal. But they were able to get Pierre Engvall in the lineup, signed to a 70-year contract. I can't understand that contract, but there you go. Rangers get by the Islanders in what is not a really big deal, I don't think, if you're a Rangers fan.
Sorry, one sec. There we go. Accidentally unplugged my headset. Did you do the Leaf score, Struds? A 2-1 Minnesota over the Toronto Maple Leafs score. Minnesota obviously is cooking right now. But did you see the overtime goal against the Leafs?
Yeah, it's
did you see the way that happened?
Don't get too excited. I guess my play of the day today.
Oh, is it? Okay. So sorry, I don't mean to trample on your ideas.
They did win.
So they did
the
win.
Wild did win.
Yes. More on that later in the show. That was the scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. When we come back, debuting our new segment, Core Blue Liners, courtesy our friends at HSE Core Services. That's take a lap around the league. Ask us anything. Our play of the day. We got lots left. You're listening to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Very short break.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is time now for Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Look at this beautiful graphic Zuby put together. So if you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that will meet all legislation and core requirements. HSE Core supports clients, operations, every step of the way. Visit hsecore.com. That's HSECOR.com. There's no E at the end. So that's HSECOR.com for more information. The idea with this segment, Struds, is that 3 times a week, we're going to have you pay extra close attention to a specific defenseman. We want you to look for subtleties in their game. We want to do a deep dive. Sometimes it'll be defenseman that maybe the Oilers might have some interest in down the road. Sometimes it's just going to be a defenseman that you find interesting. Sometimes we're going to deep dive Oiler defenseman, but we want to put that Jason Strudwick D-mind to a specific player. And tonight it's Rasmus Andersson.
He's the perfect second pairing defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers. This guy is a stud. I don't think they can get him, but let's just get that out there right away. I love the way this guy plays, and I have liked him for quite a while. Let's look at some of his qualities. He's a really good skater. He's a right shot, really good skater, gets around the ice really well. Very strong guy. Today, if you watch the game, you would have seen him many times use his body to shield the puck when he's going back to get it, and he's able to kind of let guys kind of push him along. And which is a smaller guy like Tyson Barrie can't do, right? He's not as big and strong as Rasmus Andersson. Very, very competitive guy, and he's got a really good shot. He's off to a great offensive start to his year this year, and he looks like a guy who's really feeling it. Like he's like, I can be anywhere. One of the things I love about him the best, though, and we saw this a lot today, the Flames like to pre-pinch. So what does that mean? That means if the puck is on the, let's say it's on the strong side, to the left of Skinner, what they do is they have their D-men pinch down and pretty much stand right beside the Oilers winger. And Rasmus Andersson does it as well or more than any other D-man. He's always standing right there beside him, and he's strong enough to stop the player and the puck and to make plays. So this guy, there's so many qualities I like about him. I know Oilers fans, you hate him. That's because he is so good. He's so annoying. And I actually think he's quite underrated as a defenseman in the league.
Yeah, he's off to a whopper of a start to the season, too. I think he had 11 points heading into this game, led the team 24-plus minutes a night, had a huge penalty kill block late in the game for the Flames tonight. He had the slap shot off the wing. He had multiple chances on Skinner tonight. There was one play, Noah Phillips, a big guy, and not easy to move around out there, completely erased Noah Phillips in a hard play in the corner, and then turned around and broke the puck out. So, I mean, he kind of does it all different ways, Struds, but there's a really nice element of offense in his game as well. A year left at $4.5 million. The Calgary Flames are not trading Rasmus Andersson to the Edmonton Oilers with a year left on his deal. I mean, the price that they would have to pay to convince Craig Conroy to make that deal would be astronomical.
Right. So 2 years, right? This year and next year, right?
Yeah. This year and next year. Yeah. A year left after this year.
He's perfect. He is absolutely perfect. So if you're unfamiliar with him, the way I'm describing him, he's Adam Larson with more offensive touch. Like there's
a bit of Matthew Tkachuk in there too, man. There's a little Matthew Tkachuk rat type attitude as well.
He is. I don't think he's as dirty as Adam Larson is. And that's a compliment for Adam Larson.
Tkachuk, you mean?
No, Rasmus Andersson. Like, I think
so. You're saying Larson's dirtier than Andersson?
I think Larson uses his stick more than Anderson.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
I think he's more of a cross-checking guy. But either way, yeah, like this guy is this is the gold standard. If they're looking to trade for a guy, this is the guy. But again, there's no way. You don't want to be the GM of the Flames that trades this guy to Oilers and finishes off their top four, and then they have a Stanley Cup parade 3 hours from your house. It is not happening. I'm sorry.
Well,
it will not happen.
There's some comments on that, right? Machine Gun Yanmark says Conroy sold assets to every single one of the Oilers' playoff rivals last year. That was not by accident. Machine Gun Yanmark said, Calgary just gave Hannafin to a stacked D-core in Vegas. Great work, Conroy, LOL. And then I love Pete Bauer. Be real, Struds. You'd be trying to beat the brakes off Anderson if you were still in the league. Respect his game, but he's kind of a rat.
He is. I said you guys all hate him, but you'd love to have him on your team. If he got traded tomorrow, there'd be people that would literally drive down to Calgary to bring him up here. Like he is. I honestly, Shogger, and I don't want to. I hope I'm not understating this. He is the perfect partner for Darnell Nurse, the perfect one. But it's never going to happen. So, but if you're looking around and you know one that's around the league and you think you might be able to get him, send us a note because I'd love to find him. I don't know who it is. I do not know who it is at that cap hit. $5 million.
With a year, 4.55, with a year left on that deal too. He's not a rental. What's the asking price going to be on him if he puts up numbers and does all these things? I mean, is he similar to what Ekholm was in the trade over from? He had a couple of years left, right? 2 firsts as the core value, right?
I mean, to Edmonton, yeah, for sure. Like to trade him to the Oilers, it's got to be
a first round pick and Sam O'Reilly, and you know what I mean? Like it's got to have to be a lot to get the Calgary Flames to pull the trigger on that deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Until I'm showing that I'm wrong, this is the guy. This is the perfect guy. Cap hit. Yeah. Everything fits together. But it's never going to happen. So
love it. All right. Our first ever Core Blue Liners brought to you by our good friends over at HSE Core Services. Thank you so much to HSE Core Services for coming on board. We're thrilled to have you as part of Got Your Back. Okay, Struds, time to resurrect an oldie and a goodie from last season. We're going to be taking a lap, or taking a couple of laps. And this year it is brought to you by Aecon. With over 150 years in the construction industry, Aecon has spearheaded some of the most notable projects across Canada, from the CN Tower to the Gardiner Expressway, the St. John Seaway, the Expo's Biosphere in 1967. They truly are one of Canada's original leaders in heavy industrial contracting, operating across North America and proudly right here in Edmonton, leading the way, building what matters to enable future generations to thrive. Welcome to our friends at Aecon to Got Your Back. Struds, you're going to pick a couple of stories that have your interest peaked around the National Hockey League. Lead the way, buddy.
Well, it's all European. So the Global Series Finland just wrapped up. Florida and Dallas went over there. And I love this. Like I can only imagine if I was always playing in Europe, I could bring my team back here and play at home. I think there were 7 Finnish players involved between the Stars and Florida. The Stars didn't fare that well, and unfortunately they won twice, but it sounded like the guys had a great time. They took them to different events, showed them different things. I think it'd be a really cool bonding experience. I did something like this when I was with the Canucks. We flew over to Sweden to pick up the Sedins, and we had training camp there and played a couple exhibition games, and they kind of showed us their town. The oddest thing though, they took us to an Irish pub. I remember thinking, why are you taking to us Irish pub? We're in Sweden. Like that's the last thing I want. But anyways, we had an 8 there and I guess it was good. So pretty cool event. And we've seen other countries do it. I'm sure this will be something that continues to grow.
So Struds, do you think like going over there mid-season like this, and I know they'll get a little bit of a break on both sides, but think about players who are going to, I'm trying to think of an example of a guy who would be over there, like on a deep playoff run in Dallas, over there, 4 Nations Cup, then the playoffs again. I mean, it can be a lot. And a trip overseas right in the middle of a season. And I know they're not over there for a ton of time, but there has to be some level of risk in jet lag and performance fatigue, all that kind of stuff.
There is for sure. I know when we flew back, we only took our team basically, and then we played exhibition games on the way home. And I felt it took us about 2 to 3 weeks to kind of get back on track to start the season. And now we're there longer, and we did play exhibition games on the way back, so it's not exactly the same. But the time change is brutal, right? It's you got 8 hours there. 8 hours. I guess for Florida it might only be 6, but whatever. There's quite a bit of time change. I'm sure they'd set it up so make it as easy as possible. But anyways, it's a great thing. Sticking with the European flavor, Ovi had a terrible start to the year last year. Terrible. People thought he was done. He looked slow. I've watched a couple of his games this year. He looks a lot faster. He scored his 7th goal of the year today on the power play. Not surprised. A great start for him. 35 goals away from Wayne Gretzky's record now, with a lot of track. There's 70. Let's call it 70 games left. He's got roughly. Can he score a goal every other game? Yeah. I mean, does he? Maybe whether he gets it this year or next year, or whatever, he's getting it. But I think the bigger storyline is how well they're playing. I think they're 7-2 or 8-2. Shogger, I don't have it right in front of me, but one or the other. And I remember they traded for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Just rolled my eyes. They get the goalie out of. They get the goalie, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're rolling your eyes!" Like all these things, and all of a sudden you're like, "You know what? Maybe there's something there." Logan Thompson, I think, is the goalie I'm thinking of out of Florida. Out of Vegas. And I'm like, wow, give him credit. Spencer Carberry, the young coach, get it done with these guys.
Yeah. So Spencer Carberry was a guest on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, which for those of you that don't know, our podcast company produces the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast. I make the odd appearance on it here and there. But Ray and Dregs had Spencer Carberry on this week. And honestly, Struz, I don't know if you had a chance to hear it or not. It's one of the best interviews that we've done on the pod. This guy's attitude, his demeanor, he seems like such a good dude. But Ray asked him, like, you're a first-year head coach. You walk into the room, and there's an 800 goal scorer sitting there. Like, that is Alexander Ovechkin. And he kind of took us through what the process has been like, trying to learn the ebbs and flows of, like, how do you lean on Ovi if you have to? What's the right way to handle them? And he said it's been a real learning process, but the two of them have found a nice flow now. But really interesting what he's been able to extract, from that group this season, from Ovechkin. But it's a great interview. People should listen. But interesting job that he's got as a newer head coach.
Well, I think it's hard when I think the sun is setting on a star and he's chasing a record to try to couple that and winning. And he's done it. Like, give him credit. I don't think I had him as a playoff team. I mean, they were a playoff team last year, right? Or I
don't think you did. Squeezed in.
Yeah, and here they are, off to a really good start. Dylan Strome's a nice story. Obviously, Ovechkin's a nice story. It's pretty crazy. Like I'm really surprised.
How about Dylan Strome with 17 points in the first 11 games of the season? Dubois he's only got 6, a goal and 5 assists in 11 games, but he's playing a role, and I think he plays quite a bit against the other big lines as well. Tom Wilson out to a whopper of a start. I can't believe we're having conversations about Tom Wilson in Team Canada. That boggles my mind, but the idea being if they want some physical presence, maybe he would be a guy you could rely on. He was on a couple of, not lists to be on the team, but right in and around there. And he's off to a great start this year. He's been in a couple of pretty decent scraps too. So, all right, good stuff, buddy. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon. And welcome to Got Your Back as well, to our good friends over at Acon. Okay, time to load up the live stream for our Ask Us Anything segment. There's been lots of great stuff. Before we get to that, though, we're going to return to another segment that we did, and we're going to turn to Ryan Reed for our In the System segment. Now, the idea of this is that Ryan is going to keep tabs on some of the Oiler prospects that you're interested in. We're going to update you once a week. Generally, we'll try and do it on our Sunday night pod. For those of you that don't know Ryan, he was a young student, college student. He's interested in journalism. He's an up-and-comer, and so I think it's kind of apropos to have somebody in our system talking about those in the Oilers system. So let's get to In the System, brought to you by Long Shots Indoor Golf and Sports Bar. Their premium indoor golf facility equipped with state-of-the-art TrackMan technology, perfect for golfers at all levels. They got a great licensed kitchen. Their bar, it's not going to disappoint. Check them out in Sherwood Park. Visit www.longshotswithaz.ca. That's longshotswithaz.ca. Here's Ryan Reed and In the System.
After 8 games, the Bakersfield Condors are currently tied for 4th place in the Pacific Division with a 3-2-3 record. Seth Griffith, who's coming off 3 consecutive AHL seasons with 60 or more points, leads the team with 6 points in 7 games, including 2 assists in Friday's 5-3 win over Coachella Valley. Matthew Savoy also scored a goal in that game and is up to 2 goals and 5 points in 8 games this season. Olivier Rodrigue recorded a career-high 45 saves in Friday's victory. He has posted a .916 save percentage and a 2-1-1 record this season. He also posted a .916 save percentage over 37 games last year. Josh Brown has failed to record a point this season in 7 games, but got into his 3rd fight of the campaign Saturday against Ian McKinnon in a spirited tilt. He leads the team and is 8th in the AHL in penalty minutes with 27. Next up, a visit to Calgary to take on the first-place Wranglers Tuesday. Elsewhere in the OHL, 2024 first-round pick Sam O'Reilly has 4 goals and 9 points in 11 games with the London Knights, while 2024 7th-round pick and teammate William Nicol has tallied 13 points in 13 games. Bo Akey has 9 points in 11 games for the Barrie Colts, including a 4-point night Friday. 2024 6th-rounder Dallin Wakely also has 4 goals and 9 points in 7 games. Overseas, 23-year-old Maxime Berryashkin, who was drafted in the 5th round by the Oilers in 2020, has posted 19 points, including 6 goals in 22 KHL games, ranking 12th in league scoring. I am Ryan Reed, and that is what's happening in the system.
All right, great stuff from Ryan Reed. That was in the system. By the way, Robbie Jarventi, for anybody wondering, 2 assists in his first couple of games in the AHL. I'll get Ryan to add him to the list of players to track. Time now for Ask Us Anything. That's brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, founded in 1976. It's a full-time, full-line distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated in Edmonton. We love our local partners. Visit bjelectric.ca. Zuby's back in the big box and bringing us Ask Us Anything. Great number on the stream tonight, Zuby. How's our likes, though? How are the likes, people? Can I keep you honest on that a little bit? I'm not seeing a ton of them, Zoobs.
We're over 100.
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Ticking up. The same two people give us thumbs down for every show. That always makes me laugh. I don't know where you can do.
Really?
It's the same. I have no doubt it's the same 2 people. Some sour grapes.
What can we do? What can we do to earn your trust back?
Yeah, I don't know. That's okay. We can't be unanimously liked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into some of these comments here. Kay says, weren't the Oilers 2-9-1 at this point in the season last year? I mean, it was a bumpy start this year, but even without Connor right now, it's a world of difference from what the team was experiencing last year, right?
Yeah, I think they've gone back to the way they need to play, right? Defensive hockey, solid defensive hockey first. And can it improve? Yeah, sure it can, but every team can improve, right? It's game 12 or 11. So they put themselves now within striking distance of like Vancouver and LA to kind of get, and even Vegas, I think, has 4 more points than them. Now the games aren't all the same, but they're in the mix again. And I think that the fire's not burning quite as intensely. Now they have the Devils, and that's going to be a tough one, but you're supposed to be a good team. It's supposed to, you're supposed to take on tough tasks and win it. So back at it tomorrow.
I'm going to grab a quick one off the stream here too, Zuby, from Maxelli Consulting. Listened, watched from Bangkok again, worldwide here on Got Your Back. So thank you, Maxelli Consulting. Zubes.
There's some good answers as to who's giving us the thumbs down. Ronnie Oceanfront says it's Ray and Dregs. Gordy Parchewski says it's Dusty and Eric. And then Gord adds, it's Gregor and Stauffer. We know who it's the pair of.
For sure, it's Stauf. 100% it's Stauf.
Yeah. Neil Garrity was asking, and I mean, you guys had probably the same look that I did, but he was wondering, was Rasmus upset that Janmark scored onto the empty net? Is this a thing now? Or did he, did you guys have any sense of what
we didn't get a look. Struds. We didn't get a look at it. Like,
I wondered if it's the way he celebrated, right? Because, and he was kind of going at he was skating towards Uyghur, and then I don't know if he bumped into Uyghur after he scored. Like, there wasn't a clear one on the TV, but who cares? Like, who cares? Like, it's the Flames. If they're not happy, that means you've done something right.
It's the janitor cleaning up that game. The janitor.
All right, Machine Gun Yanmark saying, I would 100% put Stetcher in tomorrow if the Oilers don't clean up the D zone. It's a scheduled loss tomorrow night. There was some other talk about people not really hearing Dermott's name very much tonight, although you, as a D-man, that's usually not a bad thing. But what would you guys be doing in the lineup for tomorrow?
Well, he talked about it. He being Knobloch about getting some new guys in there, to kind of keep guys in the rotation. And I get that, but you've been winning. And I can't understand coaches' ideas to change a winning lineup. Like I can't get behind it. And I was a guy who sometimes was sitting on the outside looking in. So no, I wouldn't change the lineup tomorrow. And I don't think it's a scheduled loss. Like, I don't think you can just say we're not going to be able to compete. You know what? Who cares? Go out there. They're on their Western swing. I think they played Calgary and Vancouver already. You got to bring it. They whipped Vancouver. They lost to Calgary, right? 3-0. And now they're trying to go for the 2 out of 3. I don't agree with the schedule loss at all.
I'll tell you what, Struds. I'll tell you the urge. He's gonna have to push back on the urge, and it's coming. It's coming. 49-25. That urge is gonna come because Emerson's game is steady. He's playing solid. He's moving well. He's gaining confidence. He's looking good. The bar is not high for him to leapfrog both of these guys. But to our point earlier, just keep rolling him out there. Keep rolling him out there on that third pairing. Keep protecting him. Let his confidence build. Too soon to elevate him next to 25, in your opinion?
100%. Got to let this guy get his feet underneath him. So if you want to put Stetcher in for Dermott, okay. And then what's the other choice? Ryan goes in for, I thought Perry was pretty good tonight.
Yeah.
So who's coming out? Like, is it maybe Kajula? Although I thought he had some pretty good hits and showed some
like
energy.
Kajula in there. He brings speed. He increases the speed in the bottom 6, and he's not afraid to finish some checks.
Yeah.
I don't mind Drake Kajula. Serviceable.
But I don't like it when you just say we just got to keep guys in. Well, they've won. Like, reward the guys for winning. Yeah, I only played 8 minutes. Well, you can play me more, coach. Like, that bothers me. Let's let it go, though. Let it go.
Okay, to that end, then the next question, not quite the same thing, but AJ wondering if Pickard gets the net tomorrow night. Is that a given?
Of
or
course,
not
100%. Yeah, moving on. 1,000%, no doubt about it.
Riot's Edge says if this team can keep going like this when Connor comes back, the team is going to go supernova with him. That would be the conventional wisdom, but is there any worry about some other chemistry that's forming now? And is it a given what line Connor goes on to when he comes back?
Well, I think that Leon's line's doing great the way it's at. And that's, so then it leaves you with other options to change. I mean, Hyman will always be beside Connor. Let's just be honest there. And then, do you move Nuge down and play him beside
No.
Enrique?
No, you just go Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson, and then you go McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, and then you go Skinner with Henrique and Brown, and you go Janmark on the fourth line with Philp, and then take your pick on the other side, Perry, Ryan, Kajula.
I wouldn't mind.
Although
Maybe
they'll be
Skinner
sent down. One of them will be sent down by then. Sorry?
So you could always go Skinner with McDavid and Hyman, right? Then Nuge with Henrique and Brown. To see what that looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't
ready
think
to drop Nuge down to that third line? You ready to drop him down to that third line as a winger? Now Nuge is a third line winger?
Well, just to switch it up, right? Like I think Nuge, he looks tired. He looks tired. I think that there was a long playoff run last year. He doesn't have the same jump that we've seen. So this isn't like I'm not punishing him. I'm just like, hey, put him down there where he can maybe have a little bit leader matchups and kind of get his strength back and then move him back up. Like,
yeah, taking Ryan Nugent Hopkins out of the top 6 there's no way to look at that other than a significant demotion for a former 100-point player. Like, he belongs in the top 6 or something has gone terribly wrong. So I don't know. There's a positive spin on that one. If you're playing Podkolzin or Skinner ahead of him in the top 6, something's gone wrong. No.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I just look at it as mix and matching, right? I don't really think I take it that far. I'm like, yeah, if you have heavy legs, that's fine. You submarine, maybe it's a little easier. Why get those legs back?
Couple more, Zuby.
Okay,
Keep 'em rolling.
we'll get back to hockey. Dr. Carpy wants to know, does Shoggy's cup say mommy fuel?
Yeah,
and you had Caffeine Queen the other night.
I did. Caffeine Queen of Mommy Fuel. Randy and I were chatting today, and we're going to set it up so our online store we can get some of these. So I literally just reach in and grab one, and it's been a couple of more interesting themes the last few shows, but nice eyes there.
Steve was on the stream right at the beginning, and he said we need to help Shogger out with his mug game. So he must have spotted that too right away. So I know what I'm getting the boss for Christmas this year. Another good comment tonight. Ronnie Oceanfront saying, "Can we have a Got Your Back Plus where we get to see behind the scenes of Rishaug's golf simulator?" How many people do you think would pay for that subscription service?
Yeah, you know what's funny, guys? So Graham Neal, former CTV entertainment reporter, big fan of yours, by the way, Zuby, and Television's Josh Clausen came over 2 nights ago, and we were playing in the sim. Forgot to invite you, Strud. Sorry about that. And they actually said, Josh actually made the point. He goes, dude, you and Struds got to go head to head in here, and you guys need to stream it.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, I'm telling you, people will watch. You and Struds mic'd up head to head in here, play 9 holes, let the chirps flow. People will watch it. So Josh Clausen of CTV weather fame wants to see it, Struds.
Wow.
I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I know you practice every day, and I haven't, swung the wrenches around for about a month. So that sounds like a fair fight. But yeah, let's just go in there and play on your home course. Whatever. That sounds great. Thanks, Josh.
Davin says Josh is a genius. Struds, you go swing your wrench around and tell me when you're ready, buddy.
Yeah, I need some wrench time. Get it in the hands.
All right, here's let's use this one from Kago. We've talked lots about Podkolzin tonight already, but I liked his question. He says the confidence is growing chemistry with Leon and RV. We're noticing his skill. Where do you think he ends up in terms of potential with Edmonton? So let's talk about maybe what's Podkolzin's ceiling now that we've seen a few games out of him, and now that he's got these higher end level line mates.
I think it's really early for me to make that type of call. Like I haven't seen him play. I've seen him play a few times in Vancouver. Then, we're talking about a handful of games here, but what I like his understanding of how to play with really good players. It's not easy playing with really good players, as we kind of outlined before. So, I guess, if he could get this year, if he got 10 to 12 goals, and maybe is he able to get up to a 20 goal guy? At some point?
In 2 years, if he gives you the same year that Fogel gave you last year, are you happy with that?
Oh, I'd be thrilled.
Right? Moonlight in the top 6. Moonlight in the top 6. Skills out at around 20 goals. Playing with second, third line players. That would be pretty awesome.
But I guess Brownie might be better to speak to this than I am. But I feel like I'm seeing more chemistry with he and Podkolzin in this short, very small sample size than with Fogel and Draisaitl. I think that Podkolzin's understanding how to use.
He's a better playmaker. He's a better playmaker. Fogel.
I think, and listen, I like Fogel, so I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think there's more there. Again, very small. I'm talking 2 games, guys. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
All right, is that it, Zuby? Or we got?
We can wrap the poll. I got one more. I'm going to bring this quickly because this is my buddy Gord asked this question, and I've thought about this for a little while. It's the big part at the end here that he's talking about. He's talking about Skinner, and he says needs some better communication with his teammates when he plays the puck. He's talking about Stu Skinner. Skinner, I would rate him as probably an average puck handler, but I feel like I've never seen when a goalie comes out to play the puck and his players just stand still. I feel like I see that with him more than any other goalie really that I've watched. And so do you guys see that? What do you think is the issue there, Struds?
Well, he's waiting for communication from the players. Like on most teams I played with, if the goalie coach would say, if you don't hear anything, just hammer it up your strong side, right? Shoot as hard as you can. And then that's our problem. But most of the time you got to yell, leave it or play it. Those are the 2, right? And that's kind of, And I saw one today for sure where like no one really knew what was going on, and Flames got into it. So yeah, I think that's something they got to clean up, and they will.
A couple of dicey plays for sure. Maybe it's the Mike Smith hangover effect, right? Anytime Mike Smith had it on the puck, his puck on the stick, what did the Oiler D-men do? They faded into the corners. Like, take your pick, tape to tape, pass to either one of us. But with Skinner, you probably got to go get it from him or make it real obvious. But definitely a couple of dicey handles. Wrap up the DeBoers poll. Zuby, where did we land on that?
Yeah, the question was, whose recent uptick in play are you most excited about? Vasily Podkolzin running away with 53% of the vote. Zach Hyman coming in second at 31. Stu Skinner, 9%. Kulak, 5%. Over 400 votes on the stream. Big number on the stream. We've hovered around 500 live on YouTube only.
Love it.
Almost the whole night, so thanks for sticking with us.
And are we still at 2 thumbs down?
Yeah, Ray, and neither Ray nor Dregs has removed their
2 thumbs
thumb down. Yeah.
We don't have to have everybody love us, hey?
And
like,
thanks for
it's
the
okay.
shout out, guys, with the on the show that I wasn't on with Steve with the beer league.
This is the first time we've had you since you sent that into our chat group. Hey guys, look at the save I made.
And who's number 10 on your team that's way out there cherry picking? What's his name?
It's funny. His name's David Schweedy. And
Schweedy, I knew it.
And it's funny. His number's actually 18. You can't see it because we've got that like a stripe around the middle. So he's playing dumb. I gave the clip. The clip has gone viral around Div 12 in West Kelowna, as they're all laughing about that too. Shogger, you saying Div 12 West Kelowna. So everyone was enjoying that, and it's making the rounds. And Schweedy said that's not me. I don't wear 10, so that couldn't be.
No,
me.
that's him. Is that his game?
No, not really. But we're all a little. It's all slow. The funny thing is that the guy who served up the pizza is our best defenseman and and arguably our best player. So that, of course, I felt bad for him being shown in that spotlight. That wasn't the intention.
Well, 2 points. One, you better find a better new defenseman. And two, every time that an Oilers player does a lazy play, I'm going to call it the guy was Schweedied.
Pull the Schweedy? No, pull the Schweedy. Pull the Schweedy. That has to be it.
We've got to talk about it because I've never seen anyone so far from the puck. So far from his own.
Pull the Schweedy. Oh, that's amazing.
That is good.
That is fun. Now is what's his first name?
David.
Zuby?
Neil.
David. Now is David a man of good humor? He'll appreciate this.
Yeah, largely, I think he's he's got a, I'm trying to, like maybe a little offbeat. He's a little bit dry, his sense of humor, but I think he sees the humor in it.
Well, he must be jolly because he doesn't back check. Otherwise, what's he doing on the team?
All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. As we wrap up the show with our play of the day, it's presented by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience and see how the team at Gallery Dental has your comfort and well-being as their top priorities. Modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Struds, crap on the Leafs for your play of the day, bud. Go ahead.
Overtime, Leafs wild. The puck goes out of the zone, 3-on-3. Max Domi skates like he's going to get it. No chance. Alder Ekman-Larsson changes, and Max Pacioretty pulls a Schweedy and just goes right to the wall. Two wild players turn right up the middle, pass up the middle, breakaway for Boldy. 2-on-0. It goes from nothing to a 2-on-0. He scores to win in overtime while OEL is changing. I don't know where Max Domi's going, and we got our buddy Pacioretty being a Schweedy on the side of the wall. Taking away the wall.
Two Schweenies and an overtime winner. There it was. Our play of the day. Well done, Struds. Thanks, buddy. Good job tonight, my friend. Thank you kindly. Let's do it again. I don't know, same time tomorrow night. Yeah, great job, by the way, on the D. I wasn't sure what to expect on the core blue liners, but you knocked that out of the park. I really look forward to that segment, and we'll do another one tomorrow night. We'll figure out who to feature, but good job on that tonight, pal. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you. We might be going with a redhead tomorrow night.
Oh, redhead tomorrow night. Okay. I'm thinking about that. Zuby, good job tonight, buddy.
Thanks, pal. Fun show.
And thanks to all of you. Hey, if you get a chance, go drop us a review on iTunes. Like, listen, I am not going to ask you for positive 5-star reviews. I'm not going to beg. But what I will tell you is if you like this show, you could do us a solid. Because a couple of people wandered in there and sort of tanked us with a few crappy reviews, and it knocked the number back. Like Struds, we're like a 4.6 out of 5, bud. Like we're not in the 5 vicinity, and there's a few other. I mean, that's unusual.
That's a low one. I'll have to get my mom to remove that.
Yeah, please do. Please speak with her. And Alfred Sweeney, please don't leave us a bad one if you're listening to the podcast tonight. Now, if you like the pod, though, go leave us a review on iTunes. That'll help us out. We much appreciate it. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream. Great action tonight. Thanks for your downloads and your subs. And a big thanks to all of our new sponsors. Much appreciated, everybody. We'll talk to you real soon. This has been Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. See you tomorrow.